Elected to the Assembly in 2004, the very first bill that I passed, 2005 Act 111, was actually increasing the enrollment that was allowed for a charter school in Racine. So I have been interested in options for kids ever since I got elected. And do you know the name of the governor that signed that bill? Jim Doyle. If you go into my office, you will see there's a pen hanging on the wall. I don't have one hanging from Governor Walker or from Governor Evers. I only have the Doyle pen hanging in my office from the very first bill that a Democrat signed that expanded options for kids. You know, it's interesting when you think about where choice started and where we are today. Who was the author of the very first school choice program in Wisconsin? Polly Williams. We all know her name. We don't know the other bills that she authored, even though I'm sure many of them were good. We know the most important one that she passed. You know who the Senate author was? Democrat Senator Gary George. That's exactly right. We would not have school choice in Wisconsin if two brave Democrats hadn't stood up and stood against the status quo and said, I'm going to do what's right for the kids, regardless of what impact it has on me personally. We had a bill in 1995, had bipartisan support, that actually added religious schools into the choice program. In 2005, my very first session, there was actually a huge movement. It was called Lift the Cap. There used to be a cap on the total number of kids who were able to be in the choice program. Do you know the name of the governor who signed the bill to lift the cap? Jim Doyle, another Democrat. We then went to 2011, where I was proud to author the proposal that expanded school choice to Racine. In 2015, we added a special needs scholarship, and of course, we allowed the program to go statewide. So for most of the history of school choice in Wisconsin, from the very beginning through the last Democrat governor we had before this one, there has been bipartisan support for the idea that if you put politics aside and decide to do what's in the best interest of kids, the choice is really easy. Really easy. That's why when you look and you ask yourself, well, what do the people that we represent think? There's a poll that just came out. 60% said that we should close the gap. 56% of the people said it should be equal funding between every choice and every charter and every public school. This bill doesn't even go that far. So we are not even doing as much as more than a majority of the people want. What it does do is it says that in almost every single case, what any choice school in the state gets is going to be less than any public school in the state spends. So anybody who's worried about ensuring that public schools have access to enough resources, even after this bill passes, every single school, save one, in the state will spend more in the first year on the public school kids than the private school kids are going to get in the same community. Now, I'm one that thinks that it doesn't matter what the building houses or who owns the building. It's about the kids that are inside and making sure they get the best possible education. Now, people are voting with their feet. Just in the last school year, public school enrollment down 1%. People are moving with their feet because charter school enrollment up 4.5%, and school choice 6.7%. And let's remember, as I've heard my friends on the left say, there isn't even an option in every single community. Imagine what happens once Governor Evers signs this bill, and we now have more educational opportunities, and the enrollment, which is currently at about 60,000, goes up by at least a third. So more kids in every community are going to be given the same choice that Polly Williams and Gary George and Jim Doyle thought that they should have under the past legislation that passed. So the deal that was cut, I hear an awful lot of griping from people on the left because they think there should be only one choice. Now imagine going to the grocery store and the only option that you get is your favorite flavor of soda but nothing else. That's not what we have in America. That's not how the best products come out. That's not how the best choices are made. You want to let the consumer make the very best choice because not everybody thinks that the exact same system is the best. And actually, when open enrollment was created, that was before even my time, that also was a bipartisan bill at the time opposed by the teachers union because they didn't even want competition between two public schools. Now, even the very liberal friends on the left think that that's kind of a part of our fabric. That is the way it should be for every one of us to think. It should be about choosing the best school for kids. For the vast majority of people in the state, even after this bill passes, it's going to be a good public school. And there are tons. But not every public school meets the same standard as what parents want, which is why giving kids a choice and their parents a choice is what's going to continue to make Wisconsin a star across the country in the options for parents movement. Now, this is one of those times where I feel pretty good that on the right side of the the chamber today, I think people are all going to vote for options for parents. And the people on the left side today get the chance to say, am I going to stand with people who are pioneers like Polly Williams and Gary George and Jim Doyle? Or am I going to stand with the Democrats who blocked the schoolhouse door in times of old because they said there's only one choice, only one way, only one option? You get the chance to be brave today, or you get the chance to stand for the status quo. I hope you will join the people on this side in being brave, standing with your governor, who took credit for the negotiations, said that it was a good deal all the way across, public and private, both getting what they had hoped for. And hopefully, considering I bet most of you are going to vote against the budget which increases funding for public schools, you'll at least get a chance to say you're pro-education by voting to increase funding for those who choose a different educational choice for their kids.